Hey guys, today's project, this DIY tufted headboard. The first thing we did was go to Home Depot and we picked up a sheet of MDF and we cut it down to size for our bed. We have a Cal King size bed, so you would want to cut it to whatever size you have. Next, I went about kind of freehanding a couple different designs that I wanted the top of our headboard to be, and then Michael cut it out for me. Next, I used a belt sander to soften any of the rough edges. And then we went to Costco and picked up this memory foam. It was more than I wanted to pay, but it was all I could find in my area. I know that Walmart offers cheaper foam, but they didn't have any when I went. Then Michael used the spray adhesive, and he used that to attach the foam to the board. He sprayed all the way around through the center, along the edges, pressing as he went. Next, it was time to trim the foam into the shape of our headboard. So Michael ended up using a box cutter. He cut from the top, I cut from the bottom. We found it to work out okay. It was pretty tough cutting this foam. It was so thick and so dense, but we made it work. The next step was to decide where we wanted our tufts. You can see I used pins to help me kind of visualize where the tufts would be. We started by snapping chalk lines horizontally at 10-inch increments. You can see it's a little bit crazy. There's all kinds of lines there, but we ended up going with the 10-inch increments. We did the same thing vertically, so all the way out 10 inches, 10 inches, and then 10 inches. And so that gave us 10-inch squares, and then in the center here, we marked another one. So we added pins to the center of all of our 10-inch squares. We knew we wanted a diamond tuft design, so we ended up marking the center of each of our 10-inch squares. Michael used his framing square and a Sharpie to find the center, and then I marked that with a pin. Then we needed to drill out each of the areas that were going to be tufted, and so Michael found this piece of conduit. He attached it to his drill, and that worked to basically pop out a little cork of foam in each of the spots. Then Michael went to work drilling through the MDF in each of our tufting holes, and while he was working on that, I went inside and got to work on covering my buttons. So I have to make 40 buttons. I'm using size 7/8 diameter or size 36. I start by cutting a little strip of my fabric so the buttons will match the rest of the fabric that we're using. If you haven't covered buttons before, don't worry, it's super easy. All you do is flip this over to the back. It shows you the little patterns. You cut out the size of the pattern that you need for your button, and then you place that on your fabric, and that's your pattern that you can cut out your fabric for. And I have cut out one, now 39 more to go. So if you're looking for these in the store, don't forget that you need one of the kits. That's the one with the little tools in it. And then the other one is just refills. So definitely make sure that you get one that has a little blue thingamajig and the little clear thing, because you need those for your fabric. You're going to take your fabric and you're going to lay that pretty side down. You're going to take your button, the face of the button, press that down over the fabric and into the little plastic doodad. Then the excess part of the fabric, you just tuck down inside of the button. Next, you want to grab your back and press that down with your little pusher. These are not the most comfortable things in the world, let me tell you. So when that doesn't work, as you can see there, it's a little bit lopsided, the back of the button. That's when I grab my trusty pliers. Oh yeah, that really takes the pain out of doing this, especially after you do 40 of them. So the pliers are super handy. Definitely recommend that if you need. And then you just pop out your button when you're done. And look at that beauty. Isn't that cute? A beautifully covered button with a blue fuzz on it. Don't know where that came from. So it took me about 45 minutes to get all 40 buttons done. Directly over top of the foam we used a layer of high loft batting. This is just regular Quilter's polyester batting. Michael stapled it into place across the bottom, the sides, and the top. On top of the batting, I went to work marking out where our drill holes were. We needed to know where they were when we'd be tufting later, so I made little snips and kind of tore it open so I'd be able to find those holes later on. Here's what the back of our board looks like so far. I just got done trimming all the excess batting. Here's the front. We're getting ready to put on the fabric and get tufting. For our tufting, we're going to be using this Eslon bead cord by Beadsmith. This is just basically heavy-duty multi-filament nylon. It works really well, especially going through the multiple layers that it has to. It's very smooth and silky. So all I do is bead on my button first, so that hangs in the middle, and then I put the two ends through the needle. For the very first tuft, I found the hole that was closest to the center. I first used my finger to tuck a little of the fabric down inside the hole, and then I used the needle to poke through with my thread and button. Once I got that through, I went over to the other side. This is where it really helps if you have someone else working with you. Otherwise, you would have to do it this way, and you'd have to go from front to back. Thankfully, I had Michael, and he was able to work the back, stapling. and I focused on working on the front. So I started in the center and started working my way outward. And as I was working, I wanted to make sure that all my buttons were at the same depth into the foam to make sure they were fairly even. We continued tufting from the center, working our way outward. It took us about 2 hours to complete all of the tufts. With our tufting completed, we were ready to get to work on the sides. We needed to pull all that fabric tight around the sides and the top and staple it down. First, I'll show you the back here and show you what that looks like. So you can see all the button threads Michael stapled in a zigzag sort of pattern to really anchor those down. So for your front, you just want to look and see, where the pleats kind of naturally want to pleat up and crease, and basically just make it to your liking. So now we're just finishing up the back. This little piece, I don't know what you call it anyway, but it came in our foam. It was just like extra packaging in our foam, like wrapped around it or something. So we just decided to use it because it was just a nice plain white to cover up the back. And that was the making of our new tufted headboard. I hope you guys enjoyed this DIY project. I know we definitely did. We had a blast making this. It's definitely a great project that you can do by yourself, but if you do have a partner or a friend that can help you out and you can do it together, it makes it a lot more fun, and it definitely goes by faster too. So I wanted to show you the fabric here because I know I didn't mention anything about that yet. I actually decided to go with a faux white suede. I looked all over the place for fabric and I came across this in Fabric Mart here in town, and I just fell in love with it immediately. It was just so plush and like so pillowy. I couldn't resist it. So white it was. So I'll do my best to keep it clean. And there's my beautiful tulips. I'm in love with my tulips. That's like another obsession there. Tufted headboards and tulips. I'm all about that. Oh, and candles, of course. You guys know me. So anyway, that is everything. I guess I will let you guys go. Of course, I will definitely post my blog link down below, just with all the details, and I'll probably answer frequently asked questions there. So yeah, I guess I'll let you guys go. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!